All right, guys. So I just heard both of you say you're on Twitter an extremely a lot of times. You're on Twitter all the time, basically. So I pulled up some stats as you were talking. Who do you think has more tweets between the two of you?
Oh, damn. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna take the contrarian pick. I'm gonna go with Bobby.
Bobby's correct. So Ryan, here's your numbers: 29.3 thousand tweets, 40.1 thousand likes. Bobby coming in with a staggering 36,000 tweets, but half the likes, 19.7 thousand. So that was pretty fun to do.
I'm just more of a jerk. I don't like these things as much. I just want to get my thoughts out there.
The Twitter tough guy, right?
Yep, exactly.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Well, yeah, that absolutely seals it. We need to find different hobbies, Bobby.
Yeah, I definitely need to spend less time on Twitter.
Yep. My wife tells me that all the time.
Yes.
I've yet to listen.
Derek, you want to make that plug now?
Oh yeah. So one thing I forgot to mention, and actually I had to kind of pinch myself the other day. I got an email and found out that my rankings are actually going to be part of. So I just got an email the other day saying that I was accepted to be part of the ECR for rankings for Fantasy Pros. So awesome. Super pumped to be able to do that, to have a spot to have rankings. And was that a slow clap, Sam?
I'm trying to clap it for you, man.
I mean, I liked it. It sounded like with the Capitals parade, you had some practice, man.
I've been doing a lot of clapping the last 3 weeks. That's awesome, though.
I don't even want to know what it's a reference to. Oh, no. I feel like this is going to go off the rails.
You know that it also means that people are going to call you out, though, right?
And there, Sam just got where I was going with it.
Oh, I got where you were going with it. I just chose to ignore it.
Oh, and see, and look, the Twitter tough guy steps out into podcast world. There we go.
All right, now since you brought up that joke, everyone wait until the end, and I'll tell you what the medical emergency is. And I didn't have the clap because that's apparently what Derek was implying, but it's rather funny. So tune in till the very end, and I'll let you know what my medical emergency was.
I can't even believe he brought it up. Oh my gosh!
With butts, we'll leave it at that.
Jesus Christ! All right, guys, congratulations, Derek. That's awesome that you got into that. Congratulations, really happy for you. Let's get into some football talk. So we had earlier today, I believe it was Mike Rodak from ESPN, put some reports out there. Actually, it might have been yesterday. We're saying that Nathan Peterman is actually a serious contender for the Bills' starting quarterback job. Now, if that name rings a bell to you, it should. It's the guy that came in for a half, right in the middle of a Buffalo Bills playoff run, threw 5 interceptions and had arguably one of the worst starts ever in fantasy, actually, like just in player career,
football
history. Yeah. So they basically they're going to start him over AJ McCarron. They drafted Josh Allen at number 7. Let's start with Derek. Is this intriguing enough for you to do something with Nathan Peterman in 2 quarterback or super flex leagues?
Oh my God! Sam, why the hell do you set me up for this? Nathan Peterman. I look. I pity the fool. I'll go with the Mr. T. I'll pity the fool that even has him on the roster because you've got to be in some sad sorts. There's no way in hell that I'm even touching Peterman. I barely even care about McCarron. Even in Superflex, and Bobby could weigh in on this, but even in Superflex, man, I'm no Josh Allen all day. I can't. I'm staying away from that entire position for the Bills unless they bring Tyrod back. Besides that, it's nasty. It's absolutely nasty.
So what would you do with them in a Superflex league, Bobby? What do you think? If let's say you're an owner, or maybe you're aspiring to get them, like what do you do?
So I think Nathan Peterman is worth a speculative ad if you have like 26-man roster, 2 taxi spots. And the reason I say that is, and this is the reason that some people like Kyle Labreck, I believe his Twitter handle is just K Labreck, Labreck. but he hates Superflex, and this may be one of the reasons why.
Twitter handle is correct.
The starters that get any kind of starts in Superflex, you can flip them to another owner often, even if it's just like for a third-round rookie pick. And so if Nathan Peterman starts any kind of games, you might be able to flip him. And if it's the end of your roster and you're taking him over guys like, let's say, like the Leonte Carruz of the world, who may never see the field anyway, it's not the worst bet. I'm not saying I personally would do it in most leagues. The one thing that Derek said that I disagree with is that as much as I hate Josh Allen and think that he is a disgusting quarterback option, he's going to start because they spent a top 10 pick on him. And because of that, and because everyone feels the way that we do about him, he's become a huge value in Superflex rookie drafts because he's going to get points. He's going to be kind of like, and I hate to make this comparison because I love this player, but he's going to be like Blake Bortles, where you just like hold your nose and hope that he gets you fantasy points because garbage time points still matter.
We couldn't even make it 10 minutes and you're already bringing in Blake Bortles.
Yeah, but I insulted.
You just compared Josh Allen to one of your favorite quarterbacks?
Bro.
I feel like that, like you're a masochist. Like, what? Why would you inflict that type of pain upon yourself, Bobby?
Listen,
it's just mean. That's like something I should say to you, okay?
I understand why people do not like Blake Bortles, but that said, last season I've said this many times before. He showed a lot of improvements of being an actual good quarterback. For fantasy purposes, though, he's put up garbage time points, and everyone seems to think that like you get -5 points for using someone who gets garbage time points. You don't. So Josh Allen could do that same thing. He might suck, but he'll at least get some fantasy points, and it's better than taking a 0 at the position.
I'm going to go, like, if I own Josh Allen, right, like, I actually want Nathan Peterman to start. I actually think if Josh Allen were to not start, his career is going to last longer. Because you throw him in there immediately, and he's just fucked. Like, either way, he's going to be terrible. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be, like, he's not going to throw fantasy points or anything like that, because you're right. He's going to get garbage time points. It's going to be, like, they're going to be down 40-0, and he'll throw a late touchdown. It's like, okay, great. There's whatever league you're in, 4 points there, 6 points there. But I just think he has a longer career if he doesn't start immediately because he'll build his confidence. He'll learn behind the great A.J. McCarron or Nathan Peterman. Hopefully, he doesn't throw 5 picks in his first game ever. But
he could.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he could, especially with all the weapons they have
this year,
in Buffalo.
It also gives them the option to get more weapons for him next year. So I agree with you. I actually kind of hope that for Josh Allen's sake, he doesn't start a game this year.
I think go ahead, Derek.
Okay, so I know I absolutely crapped all over the Bills quarterbacking situation. I get the point.
So you're with rightful cause, like you're not wrong.
Well, I mean, here's my thing. Even in Superflex, okay, so you have Peterman. I could also make the argument that I would rather stream another position over starting even a Nathan Peterman.
That's fair.
I mean, I'll put it this way. You take Josh Allen and Nathan Peterman, even in Superflex, unless it's 6 points per passing touchdown, I would rather stream in a good matchup. I'll put Charles Clay in that spot over one of those two.
But what about, so the thing you're neglecting is the off chance, and I know it's unlikely, but the off chance that Peterman or Josh Allen throws 2 touchdowns, and that automatically almost outweighs any of the production you're going to get out of whatever other position you're streaming.
Well, it depends on what your format is. I mean, if it's 4 points per passing touchdown versus 6 for a tight end, and you're in PPR, Charles Clay rolls up. So what, they throw 2 touchdowns, you get your, 8 points right there?
Plus whatever they got.
I mean, wait, yeah, but that's the only thing that I feel like in this whole entire argument was that, like, in the garbage time spot, I don't think that's given enough credence to the Bills' defense. The Bills' defense is part of the only reason they even had a chance at the playoffs last year, too. I mean, it sure as hell wasn't like Peterman and everything else. I mean, so I think the Bills' defense, as long as they're not hosed every single damn game with some kind of like Deshaun Kaiser-esque stuff where they're, you get into the red zone and there's a pick and there's a pick and there's a pick and there's a fumble, then they could keep them in closer games. I it's hard to understand what they're really doing up in Buffalo, like with their entire draft. I mean, you take a quarterback, but then you don't give him any weapons and a questionable quarterback to begin with.
Well, this is the same organization that benched Tyrod Taylor in the middle of a playoff run, so we shouldn't be surprised.
Well, and the only reason they even played him after the fact was they were like, oh, shit, we kept winning. Crap. Crap. This was supposed to go, Tyrod sucks, we bench you, and that's from the coaches. I don't think Tyrod absolutely sucks. But the coach's perspective was, all right, Tyrod's the scapegoat, and then we lose, we tank, we get a higher pick, yada, 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 and then you just keep going down the rabbit hole. But then it's like the team kept winning, and it's like, well, shit, now we got to try to make it into the playoffs because the entire fan base, which I mean, if anybody's ever talked to a Bills fan, the Mafia, they're a passionate fan base.
Yeah.
They would have tarred and feathered that damn coach if they'd have set him kept him on the bench with Peterman in there throwing 5 picks in 3 minutes of a game or whatever he did, which was, I mean, that's got to be. I've never looked up the numbers because I've could never been able to stomach it without throwing up, but that's got to be one of the worst games in NFL history, like Bobby was talking about. There's just no question. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I like to look at historical stuff, so I'll look up at some point whether Nathan Peterman had one of the worst quarterback plays of all time.
The Bills last year in real life are like the movie version of, or sorry, the fake version of the movie Major League, the Indians from Major League. They're just surrounded by ownership that wants them to fail. Maybe the Bills owner's trying to move them. I don't know. They did something last year, and then all of a sudden it just completely destroyed the chemistry.
There were rumors that the Pegulas, I have no idea how to pronounce it. I apologize to the Pegula family if that's incorrect. But there's rumors that they were trying to, they're clearly listening to us. But there was rumors that they were trying to sell the Bills, so that's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Last take on Nathan Peterman. Derek, you're out. Last take with Nathan Peterman.
Oh man, I don't.
It hasn't been registered for Derek. Derek's just
I felt like I just had a mini stroke whenever you brought that up. So
you're not even touching him with my dick. Got it, Bobby.
In most cases, I'm not taking a chance on Nathan Peterman. However, if I think that people in my league really value quarterbacks, and especially, let's say, if I'm a rebuilding team and the end of my roster really sucks and is never going to see the field anyway, I'll take the chance that he starts a few games, maybe plays well, and I can flip him for a pick.
If you're we're so late in the offseason, right? If you've already gone this long holding on to Nathan Peterman, this is nothing but great news. You might as well hold on to him now. I wouldn't even worry about trading him because I don't think you'll get anything back for him, especially if he has a couple good games. Real quick, I'm interested to learn, guys. Is there any other quarterback position around the league that you think possibly a backup or somebody we thought was going to be a backup could start next year?
Mason Rudolph.
That wasn't funny.
I wasn't kidding.
I got to hear this, Bobby. Go into this.
So, not because Ben's going to be bad, but
think he'll get in trouble?
Ben has either he has a history of getting injured.
That's true.
And he's on the older side and talking about retirement. I could see a situation where, and this is just my unexpected, I don't think he's actually going to retire, but I could see an unexpected situation where Ben gets hurt for 3 or 4 games and Rudolph is pressed into starting.
He's already said he's going to play for another 5 years. I don't think he will. I think he'll play 2 or 3 and then.
Tom Brady also said that he's going to play till he's 45, and then went and interviewed and said that he's thinking about retirement more seriously. So who knows what these guys are thinking?
What do you think, Derek? Any quarterbacks, any backups you think could start that week this year?
I mean, are we in this? Are we canceling out the Browns or anything of that nature? I think obviously.
I think a lot of people actually see Baker Mayfield playing and Tyrod Taylor playing. So
I'd say someone who you think most people think is very unlikely to start.
Let me see. Going down the rosters.
What about? I'm gonna throw. What about this guy? What about Mike White from on Dallas in place of Dak Prescott? You think maybe if Dallas is not retooling, they don't look good. If Dak Prescott has a couple bad games, what if Mike White shows up?
I'd like to point out that when you said that, both Derek and I made the not bad face where you're So It could be. I mean, I don't know about. I can't speak for Derek. I'm not the biggest Dak guy. I've said on multiple podcasts that I think his inefficiencies are covered up completely by Zeke's run game, and that they limit his throwings, and then he makes a few good throws, and it looks like he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a good quarterback, and that could 100% be Giants bias. But I am also 100% willing to admit that Tony Romo was a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Oh, man. Tony never got enough love. I love Tony Romo. He never got enough love. Since we're talking about this, so I like I was saying, I won't take the easy way out and tell you Lamar Jackson or a Baker, because people have already talked about them starting. I'll go with this one. What if it's neither McCown or Darnold, but Teddy B gets it?
I hope so, because I got him on my fantasy team.
and I mean, nobody's kind of pegging that. I know there was some BS rumors for a minute, and then it just kind of goes poof away. But if they really want Darnold to sit this year, McCown, we know he's not going to. I mean, unfortunately, as much as I love the guy, he's probably not going to play 16 games. He gets dinged up. If they really want Darnold to sit this year, which looking at that roster, and as young as he is, I would want him to sit. Do you put Bridgewater in there over Darnold? So just saying, to sit him for the season.
No, I like that. Last year, he completed 67% of his passes, which I believe was either first or second in the NFL. And that's about 7 points higher than his career average. There's no way he's going to throw 67% of his passes again. I like that, Derek. I think you're right. You're on something there. I like Teddy Bridgewater to play.
But Sam was just referring to Josh McCown stats, not Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
McCown, kind of unclear. But yeah, I like Teddy B. And I was kind of hoping, actually, selfishly, that he gets cut by the Jets and then gets picked up by the Giants and becomes the Giants' future starter once Eli's done. Because I think that he could be a franchise quarterback, even if it's more of a game manager type. It all depends on the knees, obviously, because that was a very freak injury that he had. But yeah. I'm pulling for him just because it's always cool to see someone come back from an injury that serious and play well, or come back from some kind of recovery a la Josh Gordon. So I'm definitely pulling for Teddy B, and if he plays well this year, I'll be very happy.
Teddy Bridgewater, if you're listening, the Afterburners podcast wants you to come back strong next year for the New York Jets. I'm going to tell you guys right now, somebody that everyone thinks is going to start this year, especially one of us. I'm looking at you, Derek, to think he's going to be just very, very great. That's Derek Cousins.
Derek Cousins?
I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins.
His brother, Derek.
We keep it in the family.
Derek's other friend, Derek, Kirk Cousins. Very high on him. Obviously, he signed that big contract in Minnesota. Give us the breakdown, Derek. Give us your love for Kirk Cousins here.
Oh, there's a lot of different parts of it. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to step into – this is a tailor-made situation for somebody to just absolutely explode. And for everybody's – because the thing that I hear constantly is that the defense is going to limit it and that he's not going to have volume and blah, 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 blah. But the other part of that is that it's not factored in. And this is the most talent that I mean, theoretically, that Kirk Cousins has been surrounded by. You have Dalvin Cook, Stephon Diggs, Rudolph, Thielen. You have a good defense behind him. Is the other side of that coin is that he's put into shorter fields, and everybody wants to talk about his red zone problems and inefficiency. And okay, well, you give him better weapons, you get a defense to shorten the fields, and he should be better in the red zone. He should have more touchdown chances, even if his volume does go down. So, I mean, currently, after my projections, which I don't think they're absolutely insane, he's my quarterback 3, and I'm sticking by that for right now. Unless there's injuries or anything else happens crazy in training camp, I'm sticking by it because the way that I have him projected right now, he's about 328 to 330 points is what it about comes out to. And the last 3 seasons, the quarterback 3 has scored 336, 332, and 295 points. So if he gets to that around that 330 mark, like I'm kind of guessing he's going to with what I'm putting out there, then he should be the quarterback 3, just based off the past 3 seasons.
certainly among the higher. So you're certainly among the people, the guests we've had on this show that have Kirk Cousins that high. Bobby, are you? What do you think? Are you on board with that? Or do you think a little bit differently on the Cuz trade?
QB3 this season seems a little high to me, but in general, I'm definitely on board with Kirk Cousins. And I say that Derek covered most of what I was going to say, which is he has better offensive pieces. People bring up the run game, but that can actually help him have a shorter field. The defense is better, so maybe they can make some picks that leads to him being in the red zone too. And generally, I just really like what Cousins brings to the table and think he was underrated. And when he was with the Redskins, his best offensive piece was maybe Jordan Reed, who is always hurt, or Jamison Crowder, who I like, but is more of a slot guy. So I'm interested in it, especially because, and I pulled this from ffstatistics.com, Addison Hayes' website.
Oh, I'm on there too right now.
Yeah, so
it's a great website. I mean, he's a great job. I love it.
The past 3 seasons, Cousins has finished overall as the QB5, and QB9. So he is solidly in the mid to end tier of QB1s in Dynasty for me, and someone that I would love to pair with a younger quarterback maybe. And I think I mentioned this on Twitter not too long ago because, as we talked about earlier, I'm just on Twitter. I'm probably on Twitter now and I don't even realize it. But I'd love to pair Kirk Cousins with like a Jared Goff type, or maybe even Jimmy Garoppolo, to pair that upside with what I think is going to be stability in Cousins.
I get into fights on Twitter all the time with Redskins fans because I always defend Kirk Cousins. I always thought that he got a bad rap, and now all of a sudden Redskins fans hate Kirk Cousins. They love Alex Smith, and I get it, right? Like, you want to think that way as a fan. Kirk Cousins played behind, for all intents and purposes, a middle school line last year, offensive line. I mean, they were throwing guys out there that have probably just been like picking up trash the week before. He literally had no one last year, and he kind of got them somewhat respectable to a 500 level. The only downside, so Derek, I guess let me answer this. I kind of tend to agree with you. I'm very high on Kirk Cousins. The problem is I don't know if he's going to get the volume that he got over the last 2 to 3 years. Dalvin Cook's going to come back, presumably healthy. The defense is very good at Minnesota. It's a very volume-based position, especially at quarterback. Do you think he's going to have the attempts that he had in Washington?
So I'm actually writing an article that will probably be out this week or next week on Jamison Crowder. So looking this up last night while I was writing this, that whole entire volume thing is a myth in itself, because 2 out of the 3 seasons for the Redskins, they ranked 18th or lower in pass attempts. So all of that volume stuff is a bunch of crap. Like, everybody goes and says all the volume stuff. His ranks in pass attempts for the last 3 seasons was 20th, 7th, and 18th. So to say that he's not going to get the volume, the other side of that is, yes, the Vikings ran the 2nd most run plays in the NFL last year. How much of that was because they didn't want to put too much on Keenum's plate? I mean, it's not because they had amazing – yes, I like Jerick McKinnon, but are you really going to hand the ball to Latavius Murray 20-something times a game and be like, I feel good about it?
Derek, not to put you on the spot, but have you looked up what DeFilippo's coaching history is in terms of calling run plays versus pass plays? If not, that'd be something.
I have not. I was actually – you're in my brain, Bobby. I was actually looking at that right now, or was going to. So I do think that a lot of the volume stuff is a little bit overblown, in the sense of, I mean, it's not like he was ranking, consistently in the top 5 for pass attempts. It's not like, somebody was saying, okay, we're taking Drew Brees and we're bringing him from this high number of passing attempts to, middle of the road. I would love to look up John DeFilippo if I could remember how to spell his last name.
It's a D.
There we go.
FL. Yeah, there you go. Also, just to add on to what you were saying, yeah, I agree with that. It's not like you're taking Matthew Stafford, who, if I recall, throws like 70% of the time that he's in on plays, and putting him in a lower passing volume. Because don't get me wrong, I love Stafford, but almost all of his value comes from the fact that he just throws way more than anyone else does.
So the other
Same.
part of that is that Kirk Cousins would you say, Bobby, he finished fifth, and ninth, correct?
Yeah.
It was
Third, fifth, and ninth, I believe.
No, it was fifth 2 years in a row and ninth. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So
Sorry.
he was the number 5 quarterback 2 years in a row, and this is for a quarterback that has never thrown 30 passing touchdowns ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's strong evidence right there.
So DeFilippo, man, I almost take this with a grain of salt. The 1 year that he was truly a coordinator was with Cleveland, and they ranked 11th. But that was the year that, like, that was the year of I want to say that was the year of Gary Barnidge was a thing.
Barnidge. I love to play him on DFS.
The Barn Dog, yeah. So, yep. It was the Mike Patine era for the Browns. So, I think that they're going to throw the ball. I think they're going to be more balanced because they have a better quarterback. Cousins is a better quarterback than Keenum. So.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I side note, I'm not as high on Jamison Crowder as you guys. I always thought Chris Thompson was his best weapon in DC.
That's fair. I'll accept that as a response. I like Crowder
I finally got you. Let the record show. I finally know football one instance more than Bobby. So another question I had for you guys. Now that we've just completely changed this monumental shift in the power.
Sam's the expert now, and I'm the funny guy.
We've seen a power shift now in the football expertise on the Afterburners pod. So obviously, Derek, you love Kirk Cousins. I think more so than any other guest we've had. I'm high on Kirk Cousins too. Don't get me wrong. I think you're higher than most people we've had. Bobby? Is there somebody that you think that is like you're pretty high on that other people might not be on?
Yeah, I know for a fact there's someone I'm high on that other people aren't high on, which is Jared Goff.
Don't say Blake Bortles. Okay, Goff. Gotcha. All right.
And I like Jared Goff a lot more than other people. I understand, and don't get me wrong, I understand that there's probably going to be some regression this season just because he had a ridiculous season last year, and there might be some growing pains in terms of learning new offense. But the thing is that Jared Goff is a good young quarterback in a good situation with a lot of offensive pieces, and he's going to play well, and he's going to do that for a long time. And I wrote an article about it on DLF, and I have Jared Goff somewhere in my top 10 of dynasty quarterbacks. Also, I'm going to